This video is going to cover conditionals in Scala, if, else, and we're also going to touch upon truthy and falsy values in Scala. Again, on the left-hand side of my screen, I have my bash terminal. On the right-hand side, we have a text editor where we can write some Scala code. So let's get started with a simple if statement. So if 5 is greater than 1, let's do print line. Let's print 5 is greater than 1. Then 1. Okay, that's kind of annoying to read, so let's do something else. Print line, howdy. Alright, so let's execute that code. So we can see that howdy is printed. Let's walk through that. Over here we have the if keyword, which is a reserved keyword of the Scala language. Right here we have 5 is greater than 1. So that's a Boolean condition. In this case, 5 is greater than 1, so the Boolean condition evaluates to true. When the Boolean condition evaluates to true, the expression is executed. Remember, in the previous lesson, we found that expressions are enclosed by squiggly brackets. So what's highlighted right now is an expression, so we can see that this print line statement is executed. If the Boolean condition evaluated to false, so let's change this to equal, so 5 is not equal to 1. So we can see that expression after the if statement will not be evaluated in this case, and nothing is printed, as expected. Let's do an if-else statement. Well, I guess one other thing to cover. So if 5 is not equal, so 5 is not equal to 1, so this Boolean condition is going to evaluate to true. Another thing is these brackets are actually optional. This is kind of syntactic sugar, so we can see that that works. We didn't need the brackets. I personally like the brackets. I think it makes it a bit more readable, but they're optional, obviously. Alright, so let's look at another example. Let's do if 3 is greater than 90. We can break these things up on multiple lines. Make this an else statement. Let's do 3, 90. Crazy. Alright, so if 3 is greater than 90, that's false. Since that's false, the expression after the if statement is not evaluated. In this case, the expression after the if statement is that chunk of code right there. That's not evaluated. We can see that this chunk of code is evaluated after the else statement. So 3 is less than 90. We will check that out right now. So as expected, 3 is less than 90 is what's printed to the screen. So we can see this is how if-else statements work in Scala. These are all optional, so we can do something crazy like this. That'll work too, syntactically. You could also just put this all on one line, which is just craziness, but Scala lets you do this. Alright. All of those syntaxes work. We can see that it just got progressively less readable as we progressed. Alright, so let's delete this. Let's look at something that you might be familiar with in another language. So if hello, print line, wow. Alright, so obviously hello is a string, and it's not equal to true or equal to false. In some programming languages, they have a concept of truthy or falsy values. So in some programming languages, 0 is falsy. In a Boolean context, 1 is truthy, so on and so forth. Scala does not have truthy and falsy values. So this is going to raise an error. So basically, the only thing that can be in this Boolean condition is an expression that evaluates the true or false, or true or false itself. So we could put true in here, and that'll work. We could put something else in there that evaluates to true or false, but there's no concept of a truthy or a falsy value in Scala. So this gives you a good introduction to conditionals in Scala.